This happened about 15 years ago. We were on our annual family holiday, and my sister and I decided to go for a walk on the Norfolk, UK beach we were near. Our dog Bella, a Bichon Frise, loved going for walks, but today she completely refused and would not budge. We thought it was funny how stubborn she was being, and just went without her. About 30 minutes into our walk, I told my sister to watch out as there was horse poo in our way. Up ahead, we could see a woman with blonde hair on a brown horse, and we both commented on it. As she got closer, she was not on a horse, nor were there any horses around. That was quite weird to us, as we were both sure she was on a horse. Another 20 minutes in, we were suddenly surrounded by hundreds of dead crabs. It seemed odd, but we also discussed that, being a beach, it wasn't that out of the ordinary to see dead crabs, just not usually that many. We stopped for a bit, just to enjoy the sound of the sea coming in and out, but then I got a sudden rush of fear all over me. I looked to the horizon and saw what looked like a torpedo going across the sea line at a steady pace. I started to tap my sister to get her attention to show her what I could see. She could see it too, and we both started to freak out. We genuinely thought that the beach was about to be bombed. As the torpedo got to one end of the horizon, it turned around and started to come back. This time, as it started to come back past, it looked like it was opening up and inflating. I checked with my sister, and she too was seeing everything I was seeing. The torpedo opened up into what looked like a boat, or what a smaller Noah's Ark would look like. The boat was clearly bright green and yellow, but I felt like we shouldn't have been able to see the colors so clearly, with the boat being so far away. The weirdest part was that we could see a man on the boat, much bigger than the boat, waving slowly and smiling as he went past. We kept looking at all the people around us, and no one else saw it. Once the boat got to the end of the horizon, it turned back into a torpedo, went to the other end, then disappeared. When we got back, our mom was really worried because we had been gone for ages. She said both of our phones went straight to voicemail, even though they were both turned on with full battery. We were in disbelief about what we saw, and I've tried to research it and cannot find anything that remotely touches the subject. My husband and I had just bought our house. It's old, but new to us, and needless to say, buying a house puts a damper on the old expenses, so we had both been working a heck ton. I work as a veterinary nurse and work very long hours, starting my day at about 5 a.m., and I was getting ready for work. I grabbed a bagel and a Sunkist from the fridge and set them down on the mantel when I was tying my shoe. I grabbed my keys and coat and went out to start my car because it was the dead winter and below freezing outside. I went back inside and thought, a Sunkist for breakfast? Gross. And I went to the mantel to grab it and put it back in the fridge. But the Sunkist wasn't there. My bagel was still there, wrapped in a paper towel and untouched. I looked on the floor, near the shoes, and even went upstairs to see if my husband took it, but he was still snoring away. I was quite confused, but went to grab a water from the fridge because that's a better choice anyway. I opened up the fridge, and there it was, the Sunkist, all by its lonesome, not in the organized rows of other sodas, just at the top of the shelf, right in front of the water bottles. I started to panic, my stomach was sick, and I thought I was losing it. I ran upstairs and woke up my husband. He was obviously not happy with me, but I told him, I don't remember putting it back, but I wanted it to go back in the fridge. It actually messed me up for a few weeks and got me to quit drinking soda altogether. I still remember the feeling and everything when it happened. It was absolutely petrifying. Now I realize it wasn't a silent petty thief, a ghost, or early onset dementia. It was a glitch in the Matrix. When I was a teenager, I worked as a lifeguard in a water park. We had 5 slides that started from this one tower and ended at a single pool that was in line of sight. But with the layout of the park, it was a few minutes walk from the slide pool to the top of the slides again. One lifeguard sat at the top of the tower and another would be at the pool at the bottom. We would signal to each other if someone was messing around on the way down, or if we needed to pause the line for any reason. With the layout of the park, you couldn't just see the slide pool, but you could also see the entire park from the slide tower. You could even see someone as they walked the entire few minutes path from the slide pool up to the slide tower again. The last 2 hours of the day were always really slow on the slides, so I would frequently skip my breaks to sit on top and twiddle my thumbs for the remainder of my shift. Anyway, it's about 30 minutes before closing, and I'm doing my thing chilling on top of the slides. Only 2 kids, a boy and a girl, were going down the slides and coming back up since there wasn't a line at this point. As I said, it was a long walk, so the boy would come up and go. Then about 2 minutes later, the girl would come up and go. 2 minutes later, the boy again, and so on. Well, the boy comes back up and goes down slide 2. Slide 2 is completely enclosed. It's very fast and under a 20-second ride, and has about a 24-inch diameter. I'm bored, so I lean over the rails, watching the bottom, and I never see the boy come out of the slide. A minute later, the girl comes up, and she says she wants to go down slide 2. I tell her to wait a minute and have her wait while I watch for the boy to come out. He never does. After a solid 2 minutes of me sending him down, I radio the guard at the bottom and ask if the boy came out. The guard said he never did. Then I scan over the entire park. There's maybe only 20 people in the park at this time of day, and I don't see the boy anywhere. At this point, I'm getting confused, but chalk it up to the boy coming down, jumping out the side of the pool, and going to the nearby bathroom. After finally concluding I must be crazy, I send the girl down slide 2. Sure enough, 20 seconds later, the girl comes out of the slide and runs off, no issue. A few minutes later, the girl comes back up and goes down slide 2 again, and comes right back out 20 seconds later. So I go back to waiting for the next person to come up the slide tower, when all of a sudden, the boy comes out of the bottom of slide 2. It had been at least 10 minutes since I sent him down, and the girl had gone through the slide as normal 2 times in those 10 minutes. To this day, I can't figure out what happened. Like I said, slide 2 is fast, narrow, and fully enclosed. There's no way to stop yourself on the way down. Trust me, I've tried. And even if he did manage to stop himself, there is no way that the girl could have passed by him at all. This boy just disappeared off the face of the earth for 10 minutes and respawned in the middle of slide 2 like nothing happened. I've gone over it in my head many times, and I still have no clue what happened to that boy for 10 minutes. This happened on Friday, January 29th. I was driving to my local kids' clothing consignment shop to look for some snow pants last minute because we were expecting a bit of snow. I had to turn right at the next light. I go to move over to the far right lane, put on my blinker, check and make sure it's clear. Nobody was behind me or next to me. I don't have any blind spots because of how I have my mirrors, and I drive a minivan, so I have extra visibility out of my second row windows. But after I move over, this huge white lifted F-Series Super Duty type truck with a winch and a plow honks at me as if I had cut him off. I speed up because I'm not a brake-checking fool, and watched as the truck vanished into a puff of smoke and disappeared. It was just gone. Vanished. It's an inside joke with my family that someone up there has my wires mixed up because I always have weird coincidences or unexplainable things happen. Here are a few stories of other people experiencing weird things that involved me but weren't caused by me. Number 1. A woman who frequented my dad's workplace convinced him that she knew me and that she sponsored me in Little League. I never played Little League, but I did volunteer at some games with my after-school club doing arts or snacks. The next time she came around, they chatted, and my dad mentioned that I never played sports. She was adamant that she sponsored me, and the next time she came in, she showed him a photo of a team flag with my name stitched in it. I have a somewhat unique name. Probably less than 10 people ever had my first and last name combo. My dad thought she was weird and gave her business to his colleague. Number 2. An old friend I hadn't spoken to since high school texted me out of the blue, saying that she had a crazy dream that I was in a car accident. I was commuting during rush hour, and a truck switched into my lane without looking, pushing me into the median. She texted me as I was sitting in the back of an ambulance, getting looked over, and I sent her a selfie with the EMT to freak her out. Number 3. I used to live next door to my cousin when we were in high school. It was a duplex situation with stairs splitting the building into a left and right side, so our front door faced each other. I would often go over to escape chores at home or to just hang out. I'd text my cousin, "Come open the door," followed by knocking an obnoxious tune, and he'd come let me in. One night, I was up late watching a movie in my living room. I get a knock at the door, and I open it to see my cousin standing outside looking rather tired and annoyed. He asked me if I was coming over or not, to which I said, "No, I'm in the middle of a movie." He asked why I had been knocking on his door and texting him then. We checked my phone, and my outbox had 6 texts in a row saying, "Open door." It freaked us out, and I texted him while he was next to me. "What the hell, I didn't text that." And, "Do not open the door." In between my 2 texts to him, another, "Open door," was sent. He had his messages open, and we saw all 3 messages pop up in real time. This was before I had a smartphone, so I chalked it up to an actual tech glitch. But my cousin maintains that he heard a melodic knocking on his door at the same time he got the first 6 "open door" messages.